Welcome back to Arrival Entertainment, everybody. So let's talk about one of the biggest films that has so far come out this year, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Most everyone has seen this movie by this point. Most everyone has reviewed this movie, talked about it. Most everyone who has wanted to see this movie has seen this movie already and reviewed it. Except for me. I didn't watch this movie back in March when it came out. And the simple reason why is because I don't have HBO Max. I honestly didn't want to spend $15 a month for another streaming service when all I'm really interested so far in it is just Zack Snyder's Justice League. Everything else that's on it, I'm either not interested or I already have on Blu-ray or DVD, so I didn't want to pay $15 a month just to watch one movie. I did think about getting it just for 1 month just so I can see the movie, but then I thought to myself, well, what if I end up liking the movie? Then I have to keep my HBO Max account, and I didn't want to spend $15 a month on another streaming service, so I said to myself, let's wait to see if there's an eventual Blu-ray that's going to come out. And I've been constantly following updates, and from what I gathered, Warner Brothers is planning on releasing a Blu-ray for the United States, but first released a Blu-ray in 4K for other countries like the UK, Australia, Germany, France, because they don't have HBO Max there. For the US, they're waiting until they get more of a bigger subscriber count for HBO Max until they release a Blu-ray for the US for it. At least that's my understanding. Warner Brothers hasn't really mentioned much, but they have confirmed that we are supposed to be getting a Blu-ray in 4K eventually in the United States. So I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting for more updates, not really getting any results, and then finally, their most recent update, they said something like, there's nothing new to report at this time. So I just said screw it. I went to Zavi's website and I bought the UK 4K Blu-ray for it. And I finally watched it, and I'm so glad I watched it because I'm really excited to review this movie. And I'm also going to be talking about the 4K transfer and sound and all the specs on the UK Blu-ray for this. But first, let's talk about the movie itself because I really want to talk about this movie. I'm still going to keep it spoiler free because I know there's still a lot of people out there who hasn't seen this movie yet. I know people that still haven't watched this movie yet that do watch my videos, so I'm going to keep this video spoiler free. So don't worry, if you haven't seen the movie, you're safe with me. Let's talk about this. So in case you don't know what Zack Snyder's Justice League is, basically it's Zack Snyder's complete 4-hour version on what he initially wanted the 2017 Justice League movie to be. From my understanding, he pitched a 4-hour-long movie that they were eventually going to split into 2 parts, and this new cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, is both part 1 and part 2, completely uncut, complete Zack Snyder vision. But what happened to the original Justice League, you might add? I'll give a small brief history on what happened to the original version of Justice League. Basically, Warner Brothers got cold feet when the lukewarm reception for Batman v Superman came out. So they told Zack Snyder to lighten up the tone a little bit, make it a little bit more Marvel Cinematic Universe-ish type movie. So he tried doing that, but then unfortunately his daughter passed away. She committed suicide. So he eventually left the project because it was just too hard for him. And they brought in Joss Whedon to supposedly just direct the reshoots and guide the rest of the movie through post-production. At least that's what they told Zack Snyder. In reality, they wanted Joss Whedon to completely rehaul the movie, reshoot so many new things, add so many new unnecessary jokes, a new color palette. Basically, it became Joss Whedon's movie, even though Zack Snyder has directing credit on the original Justice League. And while when I first saw the theatrical cut, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was an okay comic book movie. It was very mediocre, paint-by-numbers comic book movie that we've seen before with not so good special effects, but some pretty okay moments. Other audience members and critics, however, hated this movie. They hated everything about it, all the behind-the-scenes stuff that had come out in the press. It really showed when you watched the theatrical cut. So once it got released and there was no word of a Zack Snyder cut on Blu-ray, fans have been petitioning for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years, something like that, to release the Zack Snyder cuts on Blu-ray or in theaters or whatever. Fans wanted to see Zack Snyder's original version for this movie. And all this pushing from fans, crew members, cast members, and eventually Zack Snyder himself, we finally got to see his 4-hour uncut vision finally realized. So how is the movie? Well, like I said, I never hated the theatrical cut. It was just, like I said, very mediocre and kind of underwhelming. Now that I've seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'm really pissed off that we got the 2017 version that we did. Wow, did Warner Brothers rob the fans and Zack Snyder of a great movie. I loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. And that's weird for me to say that because I wasn't one of the fans that was petitioning to release the Snyder cut or any of that. I just said to myself, if Zack Snyder got to make his cut of the movie, that's fine, I'll eventually watch it. So at first I wasn't really excited for it until it actually happened. When I was watching this movie, I knew from just 20 minutes to a half hour in that this was going to be a much better version than the 2017 version. I can tell, you can see just by the opening credits alone that Zack Snyder was going to take his time with this movie, flesh out the characters, give us brand new expansive scenes that were only hinted at in the 2017 version or cut down in the 2017 version. Pretty much everything about this movie is better than the 2017 theatrical cut. Like I said, they fleshed out the characters. Batman has more charm to him. He's not making awkward jokes with Alfred or Wonder Woman. He's not saying that awkward line, oh yeah, something's definitely bleeding, even though I kind of guilty pleasure like that line. He feels like the Batman that was introduced in Batman vs. Superman. The Flash has more to do in this movie. Aquaman has more to do in this movie. The biggest one, however, Cyborg. In the theatrical cut, they basically cut out almost everything about Cyborg's backstory. I remember back when the theatrical cut was about to come out, Warner Brothers was saying that Cyborg is kind of like the heart and soul of the movie. And then I watched the movie and I was like, is he though? He's kind of bland and he's kind of just left off to the sides. He's like a backseat passenger. Did they really think that he was the heart and soul of the movie? Well, in Zack Snyder's version, he is absolutely the heart and soul of this movie. When we saw his backstory, I teared up a little bit. It was so well handled. And that's the biggest praise that I can give for this movie. The characters are taken care of a lot better in this movie. You would think, how can one movie introduce all these new characters that we only got hints of in Batman vs. Superman? Well, with the movie being 4 hours long, you can actually flesh out the characters. It honestly does feel like a part 1 and part 2 movie, so much so that the 4K actually has 2 discs. There's long, drawn-out sequences in this movie that last like 10 to 15 minutes long. And I seriously thought to myself when the movie was over, they really robbed the fans of something really unique and really cool, because a 10 to 15 minute long action sequence is like barely 4 or 5 minutes long in the theatrical cut. They cut out a lot of stuff that was really worth checking out. And something I was very impressed with is that nothing feels bloated, nothing feels overstuffed. It's all paced very well. It didn't feel like a 4-hour movie. It honestly could have passed for 3.5 hours, like Avengers Endgame time. And when I was watching it, it didn't feel like a 4-hour movie. So the pacing's really good. And if you were worried, if you were still worried about like how are they going to cram all this stuff into just one big epic movie, trust me, it's paced so well. In fact, this is kind of a cliche word to use because everyone's used this by this point, but it's honestly true. The biggest word that I can give this movie is epic. This is an epic movie. I would even call this the Lord of the Rings of the DC Extended Universe. There's even sequences that feel like they're straight from Lord of the Rings. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm not saying like this movie's trying to copy off Lord of the Rings. No, it feels like it's inspired by the big epicness of Lord of the Rings. Now, there has been some fans that have expressed that they're not a fan of the 4:3 aspect ratio. I thought it was really cool. It wasn't distracting to me at all. I believe that's the full IMAX ratio, because the new remaster, 4K remaster of Batman v Superman, there's IMAX sequences in the movie, and it's the same aspect ratio as Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know, if you don't like it, that's fine with you. It didn't distract me at all. In fact, I thought it looked breathtaking. Like, this is a beautiful looking movie. In fact, I was so impressed and loved this movie so much that really my only issues with the movie are small nitpicky stuff when compared to the overall story. As spoiler-free as I can put it, there's a character that is introduced in this movie, kind of like in the middle and then at the end of the movie. and you can tell he was just there to set up this character for future installments. I don't know, if that's the case, fine, I can get behind that. These big cinematic universe movies do stuff like that all the time, so I didn't really care about that one. There's a couple of song choices too that took me out a little bit, but it's only a couple minutes long, so that's not really important when looking at the overall story. And some fans have mentioned the epilogue. Now, I'm not going to spoil the epilogue, but some fans are a little mixed about it, and while I'm not mixed on it, I can see where they're coming from. Some of the stuff in the epilogue does feel like it was just tacked on to really give more of a conclusion to the movie, I guess. I don't know. Some stuff I really liked. Some stuff I was like, yeah, I can kind of see what the fans were talking about. But that's really it. That's really nitpicky stuff when compared to the overall story. There's nothing in this movie that's like big, major issue stuff that would detract anything from me. The pacing is great. The acting is solid. The movie looks great. It's directed beautifully. The musical score by Junkie XL really propelled this movie. In fact, the musical score was so good that the introduction to Steppenwolf was actually menacing instead of comical like in the theatrical cut. As someone who wasn't on board on the Release the Snyder Cut campaign, I'm really impressed with this movie. It proved me wrong. It really surprised me, and I'm so glad that I finally saw the movie, and I'm so glad that I bought the 4K. Speaking of that, before I give my grade for the movie, I want to mention the 4K and talk a little bit about the picture quality, the cover art, the special features, and all that stuff. Right off the bat, the movie's gorgeous. I mean, I've already mentioned that earlier, but the 4K looks really good. The transfer is fantastic. The colors, though the colors are desaturated a bit more in this movie, the colors looked really good for this movie. The sound is really good for this too. I just bought a new sound bar with surround sound speakers, and the movie sounded fantastic. So much stuff that I probably would have missed if I wasn't fully paying attention. The cover art, I like the cover art. Now, this is a UK Blu-ray, so you're gonna get the ratings right here on both sides. It's a 15 rating. That's, I guess, R rating for the UK. But I like that cover art. The characters and the logo are kind of like a gloss finish, but the rest of the background's like a matte finish. It looks really nice. What am I doing? There's a spine. Zack Snyder's Justice League, 4K rating, Warner Brothers, DC. Here's the back of it. And for some reason, the opposite spine doesn't have the logo. It just has the rating and the 4K and all that stuff. If you take off the slipcover, the cover's exactly the same, spine's the same, the back is the same. And like I said earlier, the movie is on 2 discs. Disc 1, Disc 2. It splits up the movie in 2 discs, obviously, because you can't fit 4 hours into one 4K disc. And there is no digital code with this, so if you're hoping for a digital code, you're not going to get it with this. There is a pamphlet of upcoming releases. This one shows the Suicide Squad and the Batman. Opposite side, a couple of DC games coming out. And then like an HBO Max advertisement on the inside. So it's a pretty standard 4K release. There's nothing like big or special or amazing about it, but for someone like me who just wanted to see the movie, I'm perfectly fine with that. Something also worth pointing out with this 4K release, if you're a hardcore collector like I am, you might be disappointed in the special features. It doesn't really include any special features. The only thing it really has is a featurette called Road to Justice League. Director Zack Snyder reflects on his trilogy of films in the DC universe, and that's pretty much it. There's no black and white version, the Justice is Gray version on this, but if you do have this, I kind of have a simple solution. You just turn the color settings off on your TV. I don't know. But honestly, I've seen clips of the Justice is Gray edit of this movie, and I don't really want to watch it in black and white. I prefer the colors that are in this movie. Like I said, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Though the colors are more desaturated than a normal comic book movie would, it's still really visually stunning to look at. So I don't know, I don't really want to watch this movie in black and white, so I don't care that it doesn't come with that version on it. So yeah, that's the 4K. It's a pretty standard release. The picture and sound is excellent. Not really a whole lot of special features. Like I said, one featurette, so if you're a hardcore collector that looks for stuff like that, you might be a little disappointed with that. But the picture and sound of the Blu-ray, or the 4K, is excellent. So I definitely recommend picking this UK Blu-ray up. It is region free. I believe the standard Blu-ray is region free too, but I do know for a fact that the 4K is region free. So if you do want to pick this up, get it while you can, because it is selling out quick in the UK. I honestly couldn't be any happier with this movie. It was everything I heard it would be and much more. Zack Snyder's Justice League is an absolute Blu-ray purchase. It's definitely worth finding the UK Blu-ray and picking it up, because like I said, it looks incredible. But if you don't want to do that, then absolutely check this out on HBO Max. Or if you do want to wait for the US Blu-ray to come out, I'm sure the US Blu-ray is going to look good too. Either way, no matter what you're into, streaming, physical media, definitely check this out. It is well worth it. So guys, that's my review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just like always, let me know in the comment section what you thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you kind of in the middle? Where does it rank in your DC ranking? Whatever your thoughts on everything is, let me know down in the comment section, just like always. And just like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to a lot more videos that I want to do. Since I've been kind of on a DC mood, I might review the other movies in the DC universe that I haven't reviewed yet. I've been talking about doing that for years, and now that Zack Snyder's Justice League is out, and it's out on Blu-ray in other countries, you can get it, I might review the other movies that I haven't reviewed. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and the theatrical cut of Justice League. So if you want me to do that, let me know down in the comment section. I'll probably do it anyway. But look forward to those. Look forward to new releases that I plan on seeing very soon. Just like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.